Greetings, Remnant Church and online friends. Welcome to another midweek refuel where we seek out the ancient wisdom simply because it's wise to do so. Those who failed to learn from the past, we've been told they're doomed to repeat it, or at least I've been told. My name is Pastor John Widdifield with Remnant Church in Fuquay, Varina, North Carolina. And would you please take a moment and just smack the like and subscribe buttons? It helps you to stay in touch and it helps us stay trending, so I appreciate it. Today's lesson is about the pride of life. And what is the pride of life? Well, to boil it down to its essence, the pride of life is that pride which finds its bragging rights within the gifts of God instead of within the giver of those gifts. No matter how smart you are, no matter how beautiful you are, how charming you are, those things are gifts that have been given to you. You did not earn them. You did not develop them. You might exercise them. You might strengthen them. You might rightly take your talents and multiply them by investing them, like the parable tells us to do. But you did absolutely nothing other than being born that availed yourself of any of them. God gave you your talent. You are to invest it. You might use your beauty, you might use your intelligence, use your cleverness, but you did not originate any of those gifts yourself. God originated those gifts. God gave the gift to you. What you do with it is up to you. But the gift is from God. No great beauty or grace of your own. You might be a great public speaker. You may have spent a lifetime honing your presentation skills, but the very fact that you have skills to hone at all is not your doing. God gave you that gift. Using it doesn't make you exceptional. It only makes you wise. Paul assures us that everyone is gifted with something. Listen to these words from the letter to the Corinthians. Paul writes to them, just as the body, though one, has many parts, but all its many parts form one body. So it is with Jesus Christ. For we were all baptized by one Spirit so as to form one body, whether Jews or Gentiles, slave or free. And we were all given the one Spirit to drink. Even so, the body is not made up of one part, but of many. Unquote. There are those who are gifted with the more public and visible gifts. Paul talks about these things as well, like speaking, teaching, preaching, and managing. Others have more hidden gifts, but nonetheless, they are immensely valuable and important gifts. Many times, the hidden gift, or the more gentle part of the body, is more important than the mouth that speaks. The gift of benevolence, the gift of patience, the gift of a listening ear in times of trouble. All these things are of incredible value, even if some of them are always done in the closet or outside the public's view. The problem with the pride of life is that it puts these gifts in competition with each other instead of getting them to work together seamlessly as the church should work. The speaker, because of his public position, gets more accolades and pats on the back than the dear saint who is currently and privately fluffing the pillow of a dying loved one. Speaking is important, but ask the dying person which one is needed the most. Let me be honest about myself so that you can be honest with yourself. I am a teacher. Therefore, I endure the same psychological strengths and weaknesses that many in the teaching profession have. The strength of teaching is that I get to engender excitement and passion for subjects that I am excited about. I get to talk about things for which I have a passion. What a wonderful job. I get patted on the back for it, and it is there that things get a little tricky. It's there where things get spiritual. According to the self-determination theory, the teacher desires and the teacher requires an affirmation feedback loop. That's going to be normal according to this theory. Teachers need to feel effective in their roles. I understand that deeply. So affirmation, pats on the back from students and from colleagues, helps to validate teaching methods and effectiveness. But, a very big but, it can also lead to missing the mark. It can lead to pride, ego, and arrogance, and believing the feedback. Positive feedback is good when it thrusts you forward, when it encourages someone to continue and improve the gift or many gifts that they are currently implementing and exercising. But if the person being praised loses focus on the originator of the gift, then this same positive feedback turns into negative feedback and is going to backfire on them. Instead of encouraging the gifted person to continue developing their gift for the glory of God, the gloated up, prideful person has the opportunity to twist that praise into an ego bloating and arrogance making self problem. When I'm receiving praise for what I do, I have to consciously and I hope wisely realize that the praise is for the gift, not for me. And the gift came from God, and God giveth and God taketh away. So best stay humble. For if you don't stay humble, Scripture tells us you will be humbled. And that's a rule of the universe, I'm afraid. Pride cometh before a fall. Speaking of which, happy June Easter month. Once upon a time, all Oscar winners thanked God in heaven for their award. Even if they didn't mean it, they said it. It was at least an attempt at humility and thankfulness. Today, they either thank Satan, it's happened, look it up, or they give some political speech as though we give a flying flip what an actor or an actress has to say about anything other than pretending to be something they're not. They act as though they deserve the audience that they have received. They are proud and they have forgotten the giver of gifts. Stick to what you know, guys. Your gift is in acting. Acting. God gave you that gift. Use the gift. Shut up about politics or anything else for that matter. If you are giving classes on how to act like something you aren't, I might show up. I might believe you have a corner on the market. I might believe you have a gift worth sharing. And when it comes to cooking, voting, or social issues, your opinion is worse than nothing. It is like listening to a kindergartner give a lecture on neuropsychology. It's cute for 2 minutes, and then you just want to strangle the kid. I have a secret for you, Hollywood. Go back to the days you remember when your contract told you how to behave in public, because you don't remember, and you might have a chance to outcharm AI overlord. Otherwise, I'll take the AI entertainment over your vaccine promoting, self-serving, culture destroying, small-minded, child-hating, and out-of-touch thespians any day of the week. You guys overreached during COVID years, didn't you? Now, AI is not only going to write the screenplays, AI is going to generate the actors as well. Perhaps you guys missed it. The instruction manual advises that, quote, before a downfall, the heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor. It also says, quote, when pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom, unquote. Hollywood and Disney both are now reaping the rewards for their arrogance, aren't they? They thought that they could teach your children anything they wished to teach them. They thought you had allowed the groomers themselves into your children's bedroom without sentinels. They thought they had ushered mom and dad both out of the picture and out of the house and could now have their way with Junior. They used their gifts for evil, and they became haughty and conceited. And now they're paying the price and will continue to pay the price. Make them pay the price, okay? Augustine, while considering the trap that is the pride of life, he wrote, quote, you know to what extent you have changed me. He's talking to God. You know to what extent you have changed me, having first cured me of the lust for self-justification, unquote. What does that mean? Well, it means that Augustine has learned how to stop himself from acting like what my family called a butt face. Every time God deals with anyone, he has to also deal with all the excuses first, doesn't he? Oh, you feel for him in those moments. Yes, Lord, but I know, Lord, but well, I know how it looks, but that is what my children and I call being a butt face. Don't be a butt face. No matter how guilty a butt face is, they are still a butt face. And who wants a butt face, really? But. And guess what? The moment the word but comes out of your mouth at the great judgment of eternity is the exact moment that the gavel is going to fall, because like an exhausted parent at the end of their rope, God is no longer interested in the but. He's no longer interested in the story. He is now ready for consequences, judgment, and redemptions. When Augustine says, quote, what of this third sort of temptation, what he is talking about, you'll see when we get there, what he is talking about is the triple concupiscence mentioned in 1 John 2:16. Concupiscence, which states, quote, for everything in the world, listen closely, this is a math formula, for everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life comes not from the Father, but from the world, unquote. This verse is incredibly important, for it spells out clearly what is from God and what is not from God. The things which are not include the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. The lust of the flesh includes desires and cravings that gratify the physical pleasures. Lust of the eyes embraces coveting and envying what we see, leading to materialism and greed, of course. And finally, the pride of life, which is the arrogance, boasting, and preoccupation with one's own status and achievements. The previous two have been covered in the previous chapters. We talked about them over the last 2-3 weeks. This chapter focuses on the latter. I believe that Augustine defines it best when he comments that, quote, he, the tempter, may keep us to share not in the harmony of love, but in the fate of damnation. Thus, he deceives us into taking pleasure in being loved and feared, not for your sake, but in your place, unquote. Emperor worship from long ago, emperor worship is not a thing of the past. Every time I go through the aisle at the grocery store and look at the magazines, what I encounter is most emphatically emperor worship. How interested people get with celebrities fascinates me. I was reading, I don't give a hoot what's his name over there? See, I don't even know their names. I was reading somewhere long ago that 75% of the nation has a psychological problem when it comes to their over interest and over concern of the lives of celebrities. A sickness. We worship them. Or we did, didn't we? Right, guys? What a fall you have taken, Hollywood. I'm so glad to be alive to witness it. One day, perhaps not too far off from now, the second beast will sing praises to the first. And when the head wound is miraculously healed, he will institute emperor worship once again. I once thought we had traversed far too long down the road of history for people to fall for and be deceived by that kind of garbage again, didn't you? But COVID, if anything positive came out of COVID, it's that it taught us that people didn't change that much and that useful idiots still outnumber the brave. Paganism, no matter how horrible it is being welcomed back into culture by people who have been kept intentionally away from wisdom and true history. They don't even know what they're asking for. They did not learn it, so they will repeat it. The pride of life causes us to not only receive praise and adoration for gifts that we didn't create, but it also can cause us to act in ways that harm culture, society, ourselves, and our family as a whole. By drawing attention away from God and onto ourselves, as Lucifer tried to do, we set ourselves up to fall, and to fall drastically. If, however, you point to God in all situations as the gift giver and glory receiver, then humility will safeguard you, and humility will keep both you and those around you safe from the extremes of the pride of life. Let us turn to Book 10, chapter 35, and we're going to read, and you can get your free copy from Project Gutenberg, and that's linked down in the description below if you want a copy. Chapter 36, I mean. Should we not set this down also in the class of things to be despised? Or what will restore us to hope if not your well-tried mercy? seeing as you have begun to change me. You know to what extent you have changed me, having first cured me of the lust for self justification, so as to forgive me all my other iniquities and heal all my diseases, to redeem my life from corruption, and to crown me with loving kindness and mercy, and to satisfy my heart's desire with good things. You checked my pride with the fear of you, and tamed my neck to your yoke. That yoke I still carry, and it is light to me, for you have promised that it would be and have made it so. And yet it was light even in the days when I was afraid to submit to it, and I did not know it. But what, O Lord, who alone are Lord without pride, being the only true Lord, having no Lord, what of this third sort of temptation? The will to be feared and loved by men for no other reason than to gain a joy that is no joy. Has that temptation ceased to trouble me, or can it in this life? This is a wretched life, and that is a shameful sort of pride. This is a reason, perhaps the greatest reason, why we do not love you or fear you as we should. For this reason, you resist the proud, but give grace to the humble. You sound your thunder over the ambitions of this world, and the foundations of the mountains tremble. It is necessary for us, for the performance of certain offices of human society, to be loved and feared by men, and for that reason the enemy of our true happiness presses upon us, baiting his traps with words, well done, so that in our greed to gather them up we are caught unawares, setting aside our joy that comes from your truth and placing it rather in human deceits. Thus he deceives us into taking pleasure in being loved and feared, not for your sake, but in your place, so that having made us like himself, he may keep us to share not in the harmony of love, but in the fate of damnation. He has resolved to set his seat above the north wind, to gain the obedience of the cold and dark-hearted with his perverse and twisted imitation of you. But as for us, O Lord, behold, we are your little flock. Keep us yourself. Put forth your wings, and we shall run for shelter beneath them. Be yourself our boast. May we be loved for your sake, and let your word be feared in us. He who would be praised by men, though reproached by you, will not be defended by men when condemned by you. He who sins not in the desires of his heart is praised, and he shall be blessed who bears no iniquities. But such a man is praised for the gift you have given him. If, however, he rejoices more at being praised than at having the gift for which he is praised, then his praise too runs counter to your reproaches. The one who praises him is better than the one who is praised. The former takes delight at the gift of God in man, whereas the latter has more pleasure in the gift of man than of God. Quote, if, however, he rejoices more at being praised than at having the gift for which he is praised, then his praise too runs counter to your reproaches. Unquote. I love that quote. Everyone has a gift or more. Everyone should exercise their gifts, use their gifts, and be recognized for their gifts. Everyone should use their gifts to bring glory to God instead of to themselves. Watch any MTV Music Awards ceremony and take your anti-nausea medicine 30 minutes in advance. Watch the bloated egos and raging feelings of pride compete for the most adoration from the mindless crowds. Watch as the entire rap culture not only enforces poor behavior, but glorifies conflict with each other, degradation and vileness at every turn. Watch as our politicians seek power and control by promising what only God himself can deliver. Watch yourself as you get patted on the back. Then you make sure in that moment to stay humble and realize where the gift really came from and use it for the glory of God. Whatever else I might say, whatever thing I might do, whatever talent I might display, the glorious truth is in this. I owe everything, and I give all praise, honor, and glory to Christ my King. My only bragging right is this: Christ is King. Hey, to the King.